guys last night, man. TK ain't escaping my wrath. Little happy hour stream for everybody on this Thursday afternoon. We're going to talk some AEW Dynamite from last night. We got 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks till Full Gear. How's AEW shaping up for one of their marquee events of the entire year? I don't know, man. All I can tell you is the excitement just isn't there, as has been the case for the last several weeks. Malakai Black and Adam Cole, baby, one-on-one last night, and all people talked about was, is that the end for Malakai? We got the latest on that. I'll give my opinion on that. Adam Cole is now up 2 matches to 0 in his quest for MJF at Full Gear. Ricochet introduces Will Hobbs back to AEW television. They dropped the ball on that. And the Blackpool Combat Club is now the Death Riders. I appreciate them telling us why they changed the name. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we're drinking inside the OTS venue. Happy hour is open for business. And when I walk through those doors on this Thursday afternoon, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your AEW Dynamite post show for November 6th, 2024. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Thursday afternoons, wherever you may be. I don't like to stream in the afternoon, man, but pro wrestling is pro wrestling, and we got to talk pro wrestling. And I got nothing else better to do before I head downstairs into the kitchen and cook myself a nice dish tonight and relax with a nice drink and a nice movie. Got to talk about AEW. Last night, we were not live for AEW. I actually kind of regret it because the Dynamite hangouts that we have on Wednesday nights with Jesse and all of you, probably my favorite stream of the entire week that we do outside of Tuesday Night Titans in the OTS calendar. The AEW Dynamite streams are always entertaining. They're always a ton of fun, and I appreciate everybody that tunes in to watch. But I regrettably covered the NXT show last night. Kind of woke up this morning feeling like, man, I made a mistake covering that show. I probably would have been okay if I did not watch NXT last night. Just an embarrassment. It's just, the whole brand is just complete dog shit. I say it every single time. And the only redeeming thing on that show are the ladies. I mean, just look at the roster. Look at the talent in that women's division, man. That's basically the only thing keeping that brand afloat. So I regret not covering Dynamite last night. I know you guys wanted Jesse today. I tried to get him on the show. He could not do the show. He has to be family man Jesse today. So everything will be back to regularly scheduled programming next week, meaning Raw, Tuesday Night Titans with the Solid Monster, Wednesday night with Jesse. Everything will be back to normal. Going into Full Gear, going into Survivor Series. It should be smooth sailing for the rest of November and the rest of December. Dynamite. I know they went head-to-head last night, but if we're basing this thing on quality, Dynamite obviously was the clear winner for the Wednesday night wars that were last night between AEW Dynamite and NXT at the ECW Arena. I thought Dynamite was clearly the better show with the better pro wrestling, obviously. But regardless, I'm not here to compare. The energy I mentioned last night on the NXT show was a lot different than it was on the AEW Dynamite show, but it's like comparing apples and oranges, man. You can't compare the two shows. No matter how many problems AEW has, it's still the superior show to NXT. That doesn't mean AEW is immune to any sort of criticism. Last night, as per usual, I watched the show a little bit. I caught up with the rest of what I missed this morning over breakfast and over coffee. And I say the same thing every single time I watch AEW Dynamite. Where is the emotion? I genuinely feel like the company is in this lull where they just put out a product on TV and don't care if people like it or not. That's just the way that I feel. I genuinely feel like there's no excitement around anything they're doing. I genuinely feel like there's no interest in anything that they're doing. And you can see it up and down all over social media. I think pro wrestling right now is cold. WWE is cold. AEW has been cold, but WWE is cold. Let's be real. Pro wrestling right now is in a big down period. And I hope that all kind of gets better going into Full Gear and on into Survivor Series. We got a lot of shows coming up that should hopefully get people excited again. Survivor Series with War Games, that's always a big one. Then 2 weeks after that, we got Saturday night's main event. We got Full Gear, which is always a great show. Tony Khan always puts on a great pay-per-view, no matter what you think of the man. But man, right now, pro wrestling is just cold. There's not a lot to really sink your teeth into. And both companies aren't really doing the fans any favor. Outside the bloodline and outside of Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton, WWE's got nothing. They got nothing. And it's lame. AEW, they have had nothing. They are desperately trying to get people interested in what they're doing, and it's just not working. And all I see is this story with Jon Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club, which right now they're going by the name the Death Riders. Thank you for filling me in on the fucking name and giving me the reason why they changed their name from the Blackpool Combat Club to the Death Riders. It was just glossed over on commentary. We see the graphics show up. Oh my goodness, they are now the Death Riders. I'd love a fucking reason why the name change happened and what the reason is for the name change. Yes, that's how they make changes. They just go and do it without any explanation on this show. They're really trying so hard to get this storyline going. But at the end of the day, they are suffering from the problem of it's all too predictable. The Death Riders, Blackpool Combat Club, whatever the fuck you want to call them, they aren't taking over shit. They aren't taking over shit. What are you doing that is genuinely getting people interested in why Jon Moxley is claiming AEW is now his? You work for me now. They're targeting Orange Cassidy. Oh man. AEW is in such trouble, man. They're targeting Orange Cassidy. Nobody with a set of eyeballs who is a fan of this product is thinking Orange Cassidy is going to be the savior of AEW. This is your main event for Full Gear. And then you want to know why people have tuned out of what AEW is doing and the stories that AEW are telling. How is anybody interested in that? Are you interested in that? I know I'm not. I think Orange Cassidy is a fine pro wrestler. I'll never take Orange Cassidy the way social media takes Orange Cassidy and vilifies him as, oh my God, he's a terrible pro wrestler. No, you're a fucking idiot. Orange Cassidy is a very good professional wrestler. You might not like the gimmick. You may think the gimmick is cheesy, corny, but that doesn't mean he can't wrestle. He's put on bangers before. And if you haven't understood that by now, then that's a you problem. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear anybody in my comment section or in this chat, Orange Cassidy can't wrestle. Go fuck yourself. Yes, he can. That's not the problem. Jon Moxley, as believable as they come. Great. When he speaks, we listen. Nobody delivers a promo like Jon Moxley. But do we genuinely sit back and watch this show and think, man, Orange Cassidy is going to be the one to take down Jon Moxley? No. You can trot him out there, have him wear black jeans, black denim, black t-shirt, fucking blacked out sunglasses. That's great. The aesthetics of Orange Cassidy going from fucking denim blue to now fucking denim black. That's great. That doesn't mean he's going to be the AEW World Champion. Nobody fucking believes that Orange Cassidy has a shot in the dark to beat Jon Moxley and become the AEW World Champion. So when he inevitably loses, where do we go with Orange Cassidy after that? He goes right back to the back of the line. And he goes back to being the Orange Cassidy that everybody says is cringy and comedic and a joke. He'll go right back to doing what Orange Cassidy did best, not giving a shit. They tried to sell this with Chuck Taylor. Who gives a shit about Chuck Taylor, bro? Who? Nobody. Half of the fucking viewing audience didn't even realize that Chuck Taylor was a fucking producer in AEW. Yet you sold me on, oh my God, I can't wait to sympathize with Orange Cassidy. They beat the shit out of Chuck Taylor. That's what you're selling me on. That's what Tony is selling his sickos. Anybody else watching this shit for the first time, trying to watch this show, they're asking, why the fuck do I care about this guy? Even some of the people, even some of the diehards are asking, why the fuck do I care about this guy? Who gives a shit? The last time the Best Friends were relevant was when they had their first parking lot brawl with Santana and Ortiz. Nobody gives a shit. But that's what they are going on. This entire storyline going into Full Gear is a failure. You have failed to make me believe. You have failed to give me a reason to sympathize with AEW. You've given me no reason at all to watch this show and say, oh man, I can't wait to see Jon Moxley get his ass kicked. No. You're missing a certain ingredient. It's called emotion. And it's called magic. What you got in Jon Moxley and what you got in Claudio and Pac. And I'll even include Marina Shafir because this is the best presentation that we've seen from her since she's got here. What you got is a great group of individuals there. But the overall story that you're telling right now, weeks of Action Andretti and Top Flight. Where are we going with this? The last thing that we saw on pay-per-view was Darby Allin, who was in the match with Orange Cassidy last night. Orange Cassidy, Daniel Garcia, Private Party, Hook. Half of the fucking people that we saw at the end of the show that were watching Bryan Danielson get stretchered out after he was suffocated again for a second time by Jon Moxley and Wheeler Yuta. Where are they in this storyline? I thought we were building this up as being the top of the top storyline for AEW. I thought this new group, this new youthful movement was going to stop Jon Moxley and his heinous ways that he's taken over AEW. Now we're left with Orange Cassidy and obviously Darby Allin, who probably will be the Sting to Jon Moxley's NWO here. Oh, man. That's what you're selling me on. That's what you're selling me on. How am I supposed to look at Orange Cassidy, Darby Allin, Daniel Garcia, and all these other fucking lowly bums that you have running out there to defend the flag of AEW? I'm supposed to believe in these men? These are believable, legitimate threats to Jon Moxley's Death Riders? They're not a threat to anybody. The only threat that they are to the catering department. But this is what you're selling me on. And I know people are going to take me out of context and misconstrue what I'm saying, but go into Full Gear, your main event for Full Gear for the AEW World Championship, which, by the way, we haven't seen on television since he's won it. Your main event for your next pay-per-view, Full Gear, which is, if you really want to look at it, a huge show in the calendar year for AEW. This is not like one of their new shows like Dynasty or Forbidden Door. Full Gear has given us bangers throughout the year. Your main event for Full Gear is Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship with a very predictable outcome. You're going into this match realizing that Jon Moxley in no way, shape, or form is losing the AEW World Championship. You could sell Orange Cassidy coming within a cunt's hair of winning the championship. Oh, man, what a story. He fought valiantly at the end. He's going to be a loser no matter what happens in that match. If I had the pen, if I had the creative stroke in AEW, what I'm doing at the end of Full Gear is going to shock the shit out of everybody. Tony wants to take a page out of Eric Bischoff's book. He wants to take the page out of WCW, NWO, and Sting being the savior against Hollywood Hulk Hogan. It's exactly what he's going for here. I mean, we've seen this done time and time and time again. In different ways, in different aspects, in different fucking fashions. But that doesn't mean it's going to work. For it to work, you need compelling, interesting, and legitimate characters on both sides. You need a grade A villain, and you need a babyface that is going to be a believable babyface hero to save whatever is going on here, be the savior of this company, be the hero, and have a happy ending. I don't believe in any of the individuals and any of the characters that AEW has presented to us on television since this storyline has got started. What I'm doing and what they need to do here And the reason why I'm starting the show off today with this is because this is the biggest storyline they have going on right now. If this bombs, they're finished. If they don't write a compelling story for this story, if they don't write compelling narratives for the characters involved here, this company is finished. You're already losing interest week by week by week. You're losing audiences. You're losing fans in droves week by week by week. If you drop the ball on this, and if you don't write a great middle and a great end for this, because the beginning is a fail. If you don't write compelling story from this point on, 2025 is going to be just as bad as 2024. And whatever Tony Khan throws at the wall, it is not going to work because they don't believe in Tony Khan. They don't believe in AEW. How could you ask the fans to believe in you when this is nothing more than a rehash of what you guys tried to do with Tony Khan and the Elite? I know exactly where this is going. And the fears that I have of where this is going, it will be the fucking nail in the coffin for AEW. What they need to do at Full Gear is the following. You really want to make a statement. You really want this Death Rider group to be a fucking threat to AEW. I don't know why we haven't had Jon Moxley and his crew absolutely destroy AEW Dynamite. First of all, you need to give me a reason. The reason that Jon Moxley is giving us is fine for the fucking sickos out there. Oh, he's looking to build up young talent and pull the young talent to where they should really be. He's looking to pull out all the talent in these people, and he's tired of the same old AEW. Yes, thanks for telling us the shoot in the story. Everybody feels that same way. The fans alike feel the same way. That's not enough of a reason for me to get interested. You work for me now. This is his AEW, right? Clearly nobody is on the level of Jon Moxley. We need something to happen where it just completely transcends what AEW has told here. I'm talking about a absolute fucking decimation of everything AEW. You want to wipe the slate clean? You want to create a new era of AEW? I want to see Jon Moxley's AEW. What I mean by that is the current AEW needs to die. The current AEW needs to be fucking killed off completely. I'm talking about taking the Nexus angle that they did at the end of Monday Night Raw years ago, where they choked out Bryan Danielson with his own fucking tie, or Justin Roberts, rather, with his own tie. Bryan Danielson choked out Justin Roberts, beating up John Cena, leaving everybody into a fucking bloody mess. I need to see rings being destroyed. I need to see fucking bodies laid out. I need to see bloodshed. I need to see Full Gear go off the air as if a fucking atomic bomb hit it. If the story is going where it's rumored to be going, you can't take who is rumored to be the saviors of AEW and just pretend like, all right, man, Jon Moxley, you know, he's doing all this to the young talent and he's beating up Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin and Daniel Garcia, man. We got to come save the day. No. Now, we're going to need to take it up a notch, man. We need to take this fucking shit into overdrive, man. Right now, we're operating on a 3. I need Tony Khan to operate the fucking controls of this, and I need everything to go up to about a 13. As far as you could push the envelope. I need the entire set completely destroyed, Nexus style. I need to see fucking announcers laid out. I need to see fucking bodies from that roster laid out. Major names while we're at it. I need to see the entire ringside area destroyed, leaving people in shock and awe because a threat is upon us for AEW. They haven't given us a reason to watch what they're doing and get a sense of emotion. They haven't given us a sense of, oh man, AEW's in trouble. Do you guys get a sense that AEW's in trouble? Do you guys get a sense that Tony Khan is losing control of AEW? Now, if you do that, and you play up to that and build up to that, And then you want to give me Matt and Nick Jackson, Kenny Omega, Adam Page, which I don't really like the idea of. Everybody coming back together, the original foursome. Saving AEW. That is the only way that it will work. And even then, you still have a lot to fill us in on. A lot of those logic gaps need to be squared away. Why would the Elite come back with Kenny Omega and try and save the company after they put this guy on a stretcher when he announced he had diverticulitis? I know they were building towards Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada. I'm assuming that was the original plan. I don't know if that's the original plan right now. I don't. But the rumor is the Elite. They're going to be the saviors of AEW. Not the Hurt Syndicate, not big-time, major-name baby faces in the company. No, it's going to be the Elite. So they're going to wipe away what they did earlier in the summer, wasting our television time, giving us Anarchy in the Arena and giving us Blood and Guts, and they're going to have the Elite be the saviors of AEW. After they pile-drived Tony Khan, we're supposed to believe that he is okay with them now, saving AEW after they tried to overtake the company for whatever fucking reason. I need to see absolute fucking destruction. Because right now, what we're doing, they're playing it too safe, man. They are playing it way too safe. Characters are not believable. It's too predictable. It's too safe. We need to turn it up to 13. We're operating on a fucking 3 right now. Seriously. So right now, this storyline going into Full Gear, if you ask me if it's working, fuck no, it's not working. And no, I'm not interested. Nobody's interested. The interest in the product is still down, and I haven't even seen the ratings come out yet. Whenever the ratings come out, I need the chat to fill me in on the ratings. Because I'm very curious to see what they did head-to-head with NXT on their own night. We're going to talk about Malakai Black. We're going to talk about Adam Cole. We're going to talk about Adam Cole getting a match next week after going up 2-0 in his quest to get MJF at Full Gear. He got a match next week with Konosuke Takeshita, who was pinned by Ricochet in the main event. Ricochet enlisted Will Hobbs as his tag team partner. They dropped the ball there. We're going to talk about AEW Dynamite as we see it going into Full Gear. MJF calling upon the Don Callis family to help him with a deal to take out Adam Cole. Where does Roderick Strong fit into all this? More garbage from the learning tree against the Conglomeration. Jamie Hayter versus Penelope Ford. An absolutely terrible segment with Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander. Tell you what, man, Adam Cole and Konosuke Takeshita should be a banger, but the way they went about that, we got a lot to say about that. We will get into all of your AEW Dynamite post in just a little bit, but I want to thank you guys for joining me here. Thank you guys very much for joining me on your Thursday afternoons. Follow me on social media at JD from NY 206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Go check out all the other content on the channel. There is plenty of it. We'll be live again tomorrow night with Friday Night SmackDown. Back to live for WWE as they will be back in the United States after Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. Got some major storyline implications there with Sami Zayn. He's meeting with the OTC, Roman Reigns, tomorrow night. Should be good. Plus the continuation of Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. What's going to happen there? Where does Cody fit into the Survivor Series plans, man? We got some big questions to be answered tomorrow night on Friday Night SmackDown. So I will be live for sure after it's all over. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. If you guys want to support what I do here, man, super chats are open. Get them on in. We will hang out at the end of the show, as always. So get them on in. It's the best way to support what I do here Thank you to my family over on Twitch. We are also live on Twitch. We blew past 11,000 followers. Thank you guys very much. The Purple Snake is also home to OTS. And make sure you guys check out my sponsor for tonight's show, Blue Chew. BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. All you guys got to do is pay the $5 shipping and handling. AEW Dynamite. We're going to start off with Tony Schiavone in the ring as he introduces the Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP. Fans chanted for MVP. Now, when their theme music hit, they didn't get much of a reaction. They got a very, very mild reaction. I'm a big numbers guy. Tony Khan, last night, during Dynamite, tweeted out the All Elite graphic, the fabled and hugely recognizable All Elite graphic, and he tweeted out on his personal social media page on X, Bobby Lashley is now All Elite with the All Elite graphic. Normally, you want to know where interest levels are for AEW right now and where people look at AEW, how people look at AEW. I'm a big numbers guy. When someone like that gets an All Elite graphic, depending on who it is, it's easily in the tens of thousands of likes on Tony Khan's tweet. Bobby Lashley right now looking at less than 8,200 likes on that All Elite graphic. What does that tell you? Seriously, ask yourself that question. What does it tell you? It tells you that people, A, have lost interest in all these new signings coming on into AEW because they know they're not going to make a difference. B, another ex-WWE guy taking another spot away from an AEW day one, or someone else that people associate AEW to being the alternative. How are they the alternative when all I'm watching is ex-WWE on AEW? And 3, what I've been saying for the last few weeks, how people have tuned out to everything AEW, and the emotion and the stories are just not there. They're not compelling enough for people to even care who Tony Khan is bringing in. That is a big, big, just number staring you in the face, how disinterested people are. MVP got out there. People are chanting MVP, MVP. Schiavone was told to leave the ring. MVP cut him off to get out of here. He said Schiavone was being rude, and he told him clearly he didn't need an introduction with everybody chanting his name. He introduced himself, held the mic up so the fans chanted MVP, MVP. He then introduced Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. He talked up the key points in both Benjamin and Bobby Lashley's careers. He said their goal is to enrich the lives of younger wrestlers and uplift them to their potential. Sounds like the same thing that the Death Riders are trying to do with AEW. So, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony. Do we have two groups that are basically with the same mission statement? Because that's the one thing I took away from that. Do we have the Hurt Syndicate and the Death Riders, Blackpool Combat Club, with the same mission statement? They want to take young talent and uplift them to their full potential. Does that mean we are eventually going to get the Hurt Syndicate versus the Blackpool Combat Club, a.k.a. the Death Riders? Maybe. Certainly better than fucking Orange Cassidy and whoever else you're going to throw at them. Because what I've been asking for, as soon as they hit the fucking scene on why they want to take over AEW, you need to throw credible names at them. The Hurt Syndicate will be credible names to throw against the Death Riders, to maybe have them stop the Death Riders and what they're doing, trying to overtake AEW. I don't know if that was done by design. or if they truly don't know that they're mixing up storylines and everything's coming off the same way. He said anyone who accepts his Hurt Syndicate business card, it will enrich their lives. But if they reject it, this is what happens. And then he pointed to the big screen where they showed their attack on Swerve Strickland. He said they didn't want to make an enemy of Swerve, but he wanted to make an enemy out of them. Swerve's music plays. He walks out very angrily with Prince Nana. He's got a steel chain in hand. He walked out. 4 referees tried to hold him back. Fans were chanting, "Swerve's house, Swerve's house." He picks up the microphone and he said, and I quote, "Full gear." And that was the end of what Swerve had to say. MVP looked at Swerve from the ring and he said, "We'll see you there, kid." And that's the way the segment came to a close. So the genius creative writers in AEW that work for Tony Khan, Mr. Will Washington and Tony Khan and whoever else is on his writing team, they thought that sending Swerve out there to simply yell into the microphone, "Full gear," was more than enough for us to whet our appetite, to get interested in a match between Bobby Lashley and Swerve Strickland. Now, I know people on that side will be like, "Oh, well, it's going to be a great match, and this is going to be a great match for Full Gear, and this is exactly who you want in the ring with Swerve Strickland." So be it. I'm not talking about the potential for a great match. I'm not talking about how good Swerve is. I'm not talking about how legitimate and badass Bobby Lashley is. These are all things that people have already come to know. What I'm talking about is the level of story and the detail in the story. Swerve Strickland got beat up. He declined MVP's offer to join the Hurt Syndicate. And all you have him go out there and do is yell, "Full gear." How am I supposed to invest in what's going on here outside of the, "Oh man, it's going to be a cool match"? How am I supposed to invest in what they're doing? See, this is where they go wrong. Their level of story is, well, it doesn't really matter. It's going to be a banger match. Fine. I'm here to tell you it sucks. I'm here to tell you that you're not doing enough. You can tell and you can see by the reaction of the fan base that the entire segment felt flat when Swerve basically did nothing as far as an explanation. Now, I get Swerve is the most dangerous man in AEW, but don't you think the fan base deserves a fucking answer as to, or an explanation from MVP on why he attacked why he attacked Swerve Strickland, why Bobby Lashley attacked Swerve Strickland? Don't you think the fan base deserves something more from Swerve Strickland as to what happened? Man, they really took the less is more and really gave us less. Sometimes that works out. In this case, it does not. You're not even in the second inning of this storyline. You don't have the opportunity to use the less is more. The less is more tactic comes when it's at the end of the storyline, a la CM Punk and Drew McIntyre when they announced Hell in a Cell and there was no more fucking bracelets and there was nothing more for them to say promo-wise. Less is more. We're not even in the second fucking inning, and you got Swerve giving us zero explanation. MVP basically showing us that he attacked Swerve Strickland. Why? That's what you want me to be excited about. Oh, man, he declined the Hurt Syndicate. He's got to get his ass beat. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit more? Do you want to tell me a little bit more in detail? Why? Why did you come after Swerve? Why are you attacking Swerve Strickland for simply declining? Why didn't you give him any more ultimatums? You just go right to attacking him. I don't really understand why there was no more narrative that you could push. You had nothing more to say to Swerve Strickland. I don't really know where this is going, but this entire segment felt flat. And I find it funny how the Hurt Syndicate, who are all ex-WWE guys, are the first thing that you see on tonight's show. It's like I'm watching WWE Light on AEW television. Now, I want them to adopt AEW ideologies and AEW and WWE things. I want them to adopt WWE ideologies and WWE-like qualities. But having the entire show revolve around ex-WWE guys, I mean, that is a fucking... I mean, it's just so blatant. It really is blatant. MVP got a bigger reaction than most of the fucking talent in the entire arena on Wednesday night. Where is this going? Bobby Lashley clearly... Let's think about this for a second. Bobby Lashley clearly is not losing his first match. There's no way Bobby Lashley's losing his first match. Is it going to happen clean? Are we going to get a new member of the Hurt Syndicate that screws over Swerve Strickland? Is Swerve Strickland going to lose and realize, well, maybe I should join them and consider joining them because with them behind my side, I might be able to get back what I need and what I want. You know, no mention. I find it very funny that there was no mention of Adam Page. You would think Swerve Strickland being back on AEW television, that this is not the only problem that he's thinking of. You know, they tend to just stop thinking about whatever else is going on to push the current storyline without intertwining storylines. Don't you think after Swerve Strickland had his house burned down and how he was fucking beaten to an inch of his life inside the steel cage with Adam Page, don't you think that MVP would use that? You consider yourself the most dangerous man in all of AEW, but yet you got Adam Page walking around here, and he's still walking around doing what he wants to do, highlighting what he wants to do and where he wants to go. If you were the most dangerous man in AEW, why is he still walking around here? Is that eventually going to come into play? Because I know if I'm Swerve, I'm looking at a way to get back at him and get back the world championship. Why are you completely glossing that over? None of this was stated. This would make the entire situation a little bit more interesting if you give me a little bit more aspect to what this man is feeling. Now, we just got to focus on Bobby Lashley because he turned down the Hurt Syndicate, and now he's got to get his ass handed to him because. You see how simple the storyline is, and then you wonder why there's no interest and no excitement in the stories that AEW are telling because they put no effort into telling any of the stories. Very lame. Everything felt flat. MVP got a bigger reaction than a lot of people did on Dynamite, and that goes to say a lot about where the current direction of the company's going. Claudio and Pac with Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir against Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin. This match went 13 minutes. Opened the show with a big tag team match as the Death Riders are out there. I understand that the Death Rider is the name of Jon Moxley's finishing move, and that's his persona in New Japan. I don't give a shit about New Japan. For all I know, I don't know, and I don't care what happens in New Japan. This is America. This is AEW. You need to give me a reason why they just up and changed the name of Blackpool Combat Club to Death Riders. The way that they instituted this change was having Excalibur go over it and say, well, now they're the Death Riders. And we see the graphic show up with new theme music for the Death Riders. So I guess this is now a permanent change. But thank you for telling me. We did not get a single instance where they told us that there was a name change coming or new theme music coming. Nothing. Clearly, they're building towards Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley with this match. Darby Allin is obviously going to be Sting to Jon Moxley's Hollywood Hogan here in this WCW versus NWO remake here in AEW. The match itself was fine. The match itself was very good, actually. But it ended up being a no contest. They wasted 13 minutes of our life because Marina Shafir thought Orange Cassidy was about to deliver the orange punch and win the match, and then she got in the ring and just blasted the referee for absolutely no reason. I mean, if they wanted to do that, they should have just did it right from the fucking word go. Claudio and Pac charged up the ramp to go after Orange Cassidy, who lured them to the tunnels where we saw Darby Allin jump off of one of the entrance tunnels and wipe out both Pac and Claudio. We go into a commercial break. After Cassidy fought off an avalanche brainbuster, he sent Pac crashing to the mat before hitting a diving DDT, which looked great. Nobody sells a DDT like Pac does. Claudio made the save with several backbreakers, and the match goes into a commercial break. We come back from break. Cassidy's ribs were being worked over, and I actually watched this via the fight stream where there is no commercials and they go right into whatever they're doing during the commercial break. It is quite the watch, to be honest with you. It's almost a little weird for me to be watching something with no commercial breaks. So Cassidy is selling the ribs. They're working over the rib cage. He gets a hot tag to Darby Allin. Crowd goes crazy, or as crazy as 2,700 people in a 12,000-seat arena can. Allin ran wild, coffin dropped from the ring to the floor on Pac before leaping into the clutches of Claudio. Allin avoided a giant swing. Claudio launched him high in the air with a backdrop for a 2 count. He then powered Allin into a spinning backbreaker. Pac followed with a stalling German suplex for a 2 count. We got big European uppercuts in the corner until Pac dropped Allin with a brainbuster, followed by an avalanche brainbuster for a close near fall, which was broken up by Orange Cassidy. Series of reversals led to Cassidy getting the hot tag back in. He took Pac from corner to corner, head first into the turnbuckles, crossbody off the top, stun dog millionaire, into a code red, dropped Claudio. Both Allin and Cassidy took turns hitting dives. Back inside Cassidy, spiked Pac with a spinning DDT. Yuta tried to jump into the ring, but he ate an orange punch, as did Claudio. All of a sudden, Marina Shafir saw that Orange Cassidy was about to hit the orange punch on Pac, and she gets into the ring and she kicked Bryce Remsburg out of the ring. This obviously caused a disqualification. Jon Moxley showed up, and he chokes out Orange Cassidy from behind. Darby made the save with his skateboard. He blasted Moxley in the back with his skateboard until Wheeler Yuta jumped in, and he jumped Allin, and the match was officially called off. Allin managed to fight off Pac, Yuta, and Claudio with his skateboard, and Marina tried to hit him with the briefcase. He ducked that, only to run into a Claudio uppercut. In the spot of the night, Claudio takes Darby and completely launches him face first into the steel post, and it was fucking brutal. What a spot that was. Violent, to say the least. So Moxley's crew had a 5-on-1 attack here on Cassidy. Moxley hugged Yuta, ordering Shafir and Pac to hold Cassidy up. They were about to have Yuta hit the Busaiku knee, and the Conglomeration comes out. Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Rocky Romero, and Tomohiro Ishii. They hit the ring as the Death Riders retreat away from the ringside area as they come out to save their boy, Orange Cassidy, who is still a part of the Conglomeration. We got a very good television tag team match for 13 minutes, but the fact that it ended in a DQ or no contest because Marina Shafir opted to just get in there and blast Bryce Remsburg for absolutely no reason, that's wasting valuable television time from the viewer watching at home. I get it. I get that AEW can't have anybody lose clean here because Darby's going to be a major player in the storyline. Orange Cassidy is challenging for the World Championship. He can't really afford a loss. Blackpool Combat Club or the Death Riders right now aren't going to lose to anybody because they are the ones who are overtaking AEW. So they had no other choice but a DQ or a no contest finish here, which they rarely do to begin with. I can maybe count on two hands in 5 years how many times we've gotten a disqualification or no contest finish. But watching this at home, and you're watching this, yeah, it's a great match, but Jesus Christ, man, thanks for wasting my fucking time. Where does it go? What did they actually forward? Where are we going with this? What type of interest is there coming out of this match? You know what the interest is? Still, the same predictable outcome that you're going to get at Full Gear. Orange Cassidy's not going to beat Jon Moxley. No matter what they do and no matter how sympathetic they make the fans feel for Orange Cassidy, he is not going to win the World Heavyweight Championship. And then you want to set up for Saturday night the Conglomeration versus the Death Riders in a 6-man tag team match. Oh, man, I can't wait to watch Collision. Who cares? Who genuinely gives a single shit about anybody here? Rocky Romero, Kyle O'Reilly, Tomohiro Ishii, Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe's the only one. Nobody. Nobody is clamoring to see the Conglomeration. Are they better than Top Flight and the Dork Order? Sure. But not by much. Not by much. You ain't generating any interest for what Jon Moxley's doing with the company takeover by throwing the Conglomeration in front of them for Saturday Night Collision. I'm sorry. The ratings are out. NXT, 619,000. 18 to 49 demo, 0.17. Dynamite, on their actual night, 523,000 viewers with a 18 to 49 of 0.16. The lower they go, the more I am proved correct. Seriously. The creative sucks. I said the same thing about AEW, or WWE rather, that I'm saying about AEW now. Remember those god-awful years from 2019 to 2022, right? Remember those god-awful Vince McMahon years where literally it was just terrible show after terrible show. I said it then, I'm going to say it now. You creatively write and give people a reason to watch every single week. Every metric that is low now will be higher for it. People will go out and buy a ticket to watch this shit live. People will watch on TV to see these episodic stories play out in full detail, emotional detail. Tony Khan thinks he's telling stories, but at the end of the day, none of what Tony Khan is telling has any interest behind it whatsoever. 523,000 on your actual night against NXT, which is a developmental show, is fucking embarrassing. You mean to tell me that AEW and all of their, this is the best, this is where the best wrestle, you lost to little fucking Guido on Wednesday night. Tony Khan needs to change something. And what he needs to change is the seat he's sitting in. I said this same thing about Vince McMahon. You know, the fucked up thing is I say this about Vince McMahon and nobody batted an eyelash. Oh yeah, Vince McMahon needs to go. Yes, because we all realize that Vince McMahon was the problem. Now we associate the decline in AEW to Tony Khan being the problem. But now all of a sudden it's a problem when I say Tony's the fucking problem. Why wasn't it a problem when I said Vince was the problem? Why is it now a problem that I say Tony's the problem? Tony's never going to release power in that company. We're now in the 500,000 range for AEW Dynamite. I don't give a shit who the fuck they went up against or what they went up against. We have a serious problem. And Tony needs to relinquish creative and put the fucking pen in someone else's hand. Who exactly that is, I don't know. Tony Khan would rather close this fucking company up than relinquish creative power in AEW. If Tony Khan is not in control anymore, he has no reason to keep AEW alive. Because this is what he's wanted to do. This is what he's wanted to do since he was a fucking wee little toddler. And he was looking up at his dad, fucking claiming that Hologram was one day going to be a major international star on his TBS pro wrestling show. If Tony Khan is not the face of AEW, then he's got no reason to keep AEW alive. He don't give a fuck about anybody there. He can certainly pretend he does. His paycheck could certainly fucking convince all the fucking marks out there. Oh, look at how Tony Khan loves everybody, man. He's such a good guy. I'm sure he is. He's a fucking billionaire. He could do whatever the fuck he wants with his money. He's giving wrestlers a new home, a new lease on life. He's paying these men and women so they have substantial income to feed their families. That's fantastic. Do you genuinely think at the end of the day that Tony Khan gives a flying fuck about anybody? The answer is no. Tony Khan only cares about Tony Khan, and Tony Khan only cares about the fucking power that he has in the company. If Tony Khan relinquished the power to somebody else, then he's got no reason to keep AEW alive because this was his fucking boyhood dream, like Shawn Michaels winning the WWF Championship from Bret the Hitman Hart at WrestleMania fucking 12. This was the boyhood dream come true. Facts. And I see some people, I see the replies. Every week I see it. Well, who's going to take charge? Maybe they go get Scott D'Amore. Maybe they go bring in somebody else to write the show. Maybe someone writes Dynamite and someone else writes Collision. No, that's not going to happen. Can you imagine? Just imagine Scott D'Amore coming on in or Shane McMahon coming on in to write and be the lead guy for a brand on AEW television. Imagine. And everybody starts to curry favor with Shane. Oh my God, Shane! He's the savior that we needed. Oh my God, Scott D'Amore is doing such a great job. How do you think Tony is going to look at that? Think about that. Do you think Tony Khan is going to look at Scott D'Amore in a glowing way? Oh, man, you know what, Scott, thank you so much, man. You're doing such a great job, man. Let's bump up your paycheck. Man, I love that the fans love what you're doing, man. Fuck out of here. He ain't going to look at Scott D'Amore or anybody in that fucking seat with the pen in his hand and gloat how great Dynamite is. Tony's going to look at them and say, fuck off, bro. He's going to look at them with disgust. He's never going to hire someone to come on into the company and do something better than he's doing. Vince. Sorry, man. I got some allergies. Very bad allergies. Sound familiar? How many people did Vince put in the executive producer chair? Paul Heyman. Hey, he's gone. Eric Bischoff. Hey, he's gone. How many people before that? How many people were given the go to help write creatively, man? How many writers did they employ there? 98? How many writers got their shit on television? Zero. How many people right now are in Tony Khan's ear, man? Probably Will Robinson over there. And half of the shit that he comes up with, clearly, is fucking dog shit. I thought he was supposed to be someone who was brought in to consistently fill in the gaps and make sure television makes sense. You know what makes sense? Not a fucking thing on this show. Do those ratings make sense? Certainly in November to remember, huh? Fujins, you just gave me an idea, man. Where's, let's see. So let's see, man. Where are the ratings? Let's see. Who tweeted out the ratings, man? Let's see. Yeah. We'll quote tweet. Let me move this out of the way. We'll quote tweet Dave Meltzer right now, man. Let's see. Certainly a November to remember. Tony? Laughing my ass off. Actually, no, we'll just put a laughing emoji. There you go. There you go, man. Certainly a November to remember for good old TK, huh? Oh, my goodness, man. Absolutely fucking embarrassing, to say the least, man. They lost to Little Guido. Ridiculous. Moving on. Renee Paquette was backstage with Ricochet, asking who his mystery partner is in the main event. Ricochet said he could pick anyone, as so many have issues with the Don Callis family. But he will keep it a secret for now. The Hurt Syndicate approached. Ricochet says it's nice to see them, while MVP said they just want to wish him good luck. Ricochet says, well, you and I already spoke. I know, says MVP. Bobby Lash is looking at his fancy suit. Hey, man, nice to see you. You know, we'll keep an eye on you. So he says to MVP, we talked already. And MVP's like, yeah, I know. Yeah, we're going to watch you out there. Ricochet's like, yeah, you're going to watch me work. Yeah, we'll watch you. Are they enlisting Ricochet? Are they courting Ricochet into the Hurt Syndicate? I'll tell you who needs to be in the Hurt Syndicate a little bit later. It's not fucking Ricochet. The two teams with Ricochet in the main event tonight. Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Tomohiro Ishii. The Conglomeration against Chris Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith in a 6-man tag that they dubbed Fight Without Honor. I don't know why the opening 2 tag team matches took up the entire first hour of Dynamite. I don't know why this got nearly, what would this get, 15 minutes? Just as big as the opening tag team match was this match, or just as long, I should say, time-wise. Now, I didn't know what the fuck a Fight Without Honor match was. Obviously, if you guys watch the show, this is nothing more than a Texas Tornado 6-man tag team match. This was done specifically by AEW to combat, because they are petty, and I didn't really expect WWE to go out and do fucking weapons galore and hardcore galore for their ECW show at the 2300 Arena. But Tony Khan felt like, you want to run at the ECW Arena? You ain't going to get anything close to ECW. I'll show you ECW, and that's exactly what this match was. This was nothing more than an answer to WWE holding their NXT show at the ECW Arena. Weapons galore. Ladders, tables, Singapore canes, chairs, you name it. Every item that you could find at ringside, it was used in this match. And at the end of the match, you're asking yourself, do I care about any of this? No. The answer is no. The answer is, without a shadow of a doubt, no. So we go into a picture-in-picture break. Big Bill slammed Mark Briscoe through a ladder that was leaned up against the ringside barricade. So he got taken out right before the commercial. We come back from the break. Briscoe bashed Jericho with a chair. Bill kicked the chair into Briscoe's head. Bill then gave O'Reilly a big boss man slam. which looked like he struggled with a little bit, but Kyle O'Reilly is not a small guy. He then roared and danced for the hard camera. Great. Big Bill's got some moves. Briscoe and Ishii hopped away at Jericho. Keith and Briscoe were going at it. Ishii had a kendo stick. He was using it on Brian Keith. Big Bill and Kyle O'Reilly, they brawled into the backstage area. Bill leapt off some production crates and crashed O'Reilly, who had a guillotine choke on Big Bill. So Big Bill, the only way to break the hold was to leap off the production crates through a set of tables that were backstage, conveniently in front of a hard seltzer stand. I'm sure Tony was drooling over the fact that hard seltzer was being served and he was nowhere in sight. Fans chanted, "Holy shit, holy shit." Jericho used the ladder against Briscoe back in the ring. Briscoe ducked a ladder swing. He connects with a J Driller. Briscoe leapt off a big ladder and landed Froggy Bow onto Jericho on a table below for a 2 count that was broken up by Brian Keith. Ishii and Brian Keith battled in the ring. Briscoe landed a leaping dive through the ropes on Brian Keith seconds later to take him out. Ishii landed a big lariat on Jericho, followed by a brainbuster for a 1, 2, 3. Tomohiro Ishii pins the new Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho in a 6-man Texas Tornado match, a fight without honor match. By a show of hands in the live stream chat, how many of you are now interested in the improbable and in the overly predictable Chris Jericho versus Tomohiro Ishii Ring of Honor World Championship match that I'm hoping that they don't do? I don't even know if they're doing a final battle. Are they doing a final battle this year? Nothing about final battle has been announced. You would think that they would run it at the Hammerstein Ballroom, something along those lines. Nothing, not even a fucking announcement. Ring of Honor is dead. Making Chris Jericho the Ring of Honor World Champion just solidifies its deadness. I'm assuming we'll have to be subjected to Chris Jericho versus Tomohiro Ishii at Full Gear. You do know where this is going, correct? You do know where this is going. They think that they have some well-drawn-out storylines, man. You want to? I don't even work for AEW. You want to know where this is going? They are so fucking predictable in where they're going. Samoa Joe just wrapped up whatever the fuck he was filming. When was the last time we seen Samoa Joe on AEW television? Wasn't he put through some fucking wall as Jericho blasted him on top of a crane through some sheetrock? Jericho's going to beat Tomohiro Ishii at Full Gear. We gotta sit through that at the pay-per-view. Paying $50 to watch Tomohiro Ishii versus Chris Jericho. God bless your soul, Tony. After he gets through Tomohiro Ishii, final battle. Hammerstein Ballroom, maybe. Depending. I don't know where the fuck they're going to be. I don't even know if there's going to be a final battle. Samoa Joe, Chris Jericho. Samoa Joe wins the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Gee, is that where they're going? Samoa Joe's going to be back on television. He's healthy and ready to go. Samoa Joe is better when he's on television, or AEW television rather, is better when Samoa Joe is on there. How do we use and utilize Samoa Joe to the best of our abilities? Yeah, we'll just make him the Ring of Honor World Champion. Who gives a shit? Who genuinely gives a fuck about Ring of Honor? What they really should be doing is have him come back, beat the shit out of Chris Jericho, team with Hook, have him be the father figure that Hook needs, and have them be a tag team in a very depleted tag team division. That's what I would do. That's something new. That's something fresh. That's something that actually was working out until Samoa Joe had to go bye-bye. It's exactly where they're going. None of this is exciting whatsoever. Mark Briscoe I don't know if he's going to be in anything remotely creative from this point on. He lost the Ring of Honor Championship. I don't know what's next for him. I'd like to see another go-around in the Continental Classic, to be quite honest with you. I think someone like that who had a rough go in 2023, showing up in 2024, I think that could be a fairy tale thing if they want to tell that story going into this year's Classic. They may actually tell that story with Daniel Garcia, because Daniel Garcia went winless until he beat Brody King in the tournament last year. So they'll being that he just signed a new fancy contract, I'm sure they'll give him a much better showing in the Continental Classic this year and prove to everybody that we're the best wrestle. Gee, color me shocked there. But I think Briscoe could benefit from that as well, being that he's not doing anything interesting at all. Backstage, Claudio, Pac, Moxley, Shafir, and Yuta. Mox addressed the camera and said money doesn't buy loyalty just because he loaned him gas money and let him sleep on the couch. He insisted Yuta doesn't owe Cassidy anything. He said only a cause buys loyalty. He says he's a soldier under his command is Wheeler Yuta. He said he had high hopes for Darby, but he's been a disappointment. Yuta stared into the camera. There's a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to destroy, and a time to build. Moxley said, what season are we in? Maybe it's time to stop playing at the thing you want people to take seriously. Now, I don't know what that means, but I think we're in a time to destroy. Come Full Gear, like I mentioned in the opening to this show tonight, there is a time to destroy, and I need Full Gear to be destroyed at the end of that Orange Cassidy match by Jon Moxley and the Death Riders. When you name yourself the Death Riders, I imagine the four horsemen of the apocalypse riding in on horseback and wiping the fucking company from existence. It's exactly what they need to do. That's exactly what needs to happen. We're in a time to destroy. And then we're in a time to build. Build back in his own image. Who's going to be the ones to take down Jon Moxley's AEW? Do I trust Tony Khan and AEW to tell us that story, which sounds very biblical? No. No, I don't. I do not. Adam Cole. He went one-on-one with Malakai Black. This was a rematch from NXT TakeOver, the glory days. How I miss NXT TakeOver. One of my most favorite periods in all of my pro wrestling fandom was the NXT Black and Gold TakeOver shows. Rematch from TakeOver Philadelphia. One of the best matches in NXT history was that hardcore match, that street fight between Black and Adam Cole. Man, do I wish we had both Malachi or Aleister Black then and Adam Cole then. I wish we had those guys wherever those guys went. I wish they had whatever they had then now. They are both shells of their former self. They are. And I love Adam Cole dearly. He does not come off the same way. There's just this sadness about him. I don't know what it is. There's just this indifference that jumps off especially on Malachi. There's just this indifference from both Adam Cole and Malachi. I don't know if you guys see it. It's just not there. I mean, it's just not resonating. Adam Cole used to resonate through the television screen. What went wrong here? Where did that Adam Cole go? I don't know. Malachi, same thing. Is sitting stagnant in AEW killing his desire for pro wrestling? One could only hope. Cole made his entrance. Black made his entrance. Match starts at exactly 9 o'clock. Black and Cole had a very good match here. This was Exactly how you would expect between two great pro wrestlers. They've always worked good together. Always. Now, the thing is, the storyline for Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. I need to mention this now before we get to the end of this match. MJF was laid out on a masseuse's table from the beautiful Natalia, who was giving him a massage. The beautiful Natalia was giving him a massage, and he said, in a joking way, that, oh, look at MJF, man. Typical MJF, having his opponents jump through hoops to wrestle each other and go through trials and tribulations to ultimately get to MJF in the end. He even made fun of the simple fact that this is, again, a rehash of what he usually does to all his opponents. He said, Adam Cole and Roderick Strong, you both want a piece of the devil. Whoever wins 3 matches first will get MJF at Full Gear. So here we are, and we're going through a series of matches. Adam Cole, he has to win 3 matches. If he gets the 3 matches first, he gets MJF at Full Gear. If Roddy gets the 3 matches first, he gets MJF at Full Gear. I want you to sit with that. I want you to take that and what I said, sit with it, let it marinate, and we'll talk about that. We'll cycle back to the original point of that at the end of the match. Excalibur said that Cole has never beaten Black in all of their singles matches, as Black is 6-0 against Bebe. Now, this is Black's first singles match since the steel cage match against Adam Copeland, where he broke his leg, foolishly, broke his leg at Double or Nothing. We got a back and forth series of takedowns until Black caught a super kick and he worked on Adam's injured ankle, and he targeted Cole's major weakness here. He opts to work the wrist, moving away from the ankle. He fired off an inside leg kick, forcing Cole to go to the outside and reset. Black was quickly out after Cole battled back, wanting a heat seeker, only for Black to avoid. Dive off the apron. Cole hit a super kick midair, and we go to a commercial break. When they come back, Cole immediately hit a fireman's carry neckbreaker, or a Ushigoroshi, for 2. Panama Sunrise, he hit it. Momentum took Black to his feet, and he, from that position, fired off a pump knee, and both guys collapsed. Cool spot. Black managed to get a near fall. He fell onto Adam Cole. He got a 2 count. So both get up. They go for a slugfest until Cole super kicked the leg, but Black swept the leg in return, going to the corner. He let Cole get a little bit too much time. Cole cut him off. Black countered a superplex in the corner, wanting a sunset bomb, and he hits another pump knee. Both traded super kicks until Cole hit a neck breaker on the knee, another Ushigoroshi. Cole charged, and Black hit the Black Mass, or what he calls the end. Black hits his finish, which, if you guys remember in WWE, was a protected finish, just like the RKO was, just like End of Days was from Baron Corbin. He hits his finish. Flush in the face. Adam Cole withers away to the canvas. He's on his back. Black goes for a cover, and he only gets a 2 count. And Adam Cole kicks out of Black Mass. I'm going to stop there. Why are we using the move? Why are we using that move? Maybe it's not that big of a deal to Black or to somebody else watching the show. Why are we using the finish if the finish is not going to come into play and be the actual finish of the match? How weak does that make the move? And how weak does that make Malachi? If he hits the move, the one thing in his fucking pocket that will allow him to win a match at any given point, it legitimately was the RKO rebranded, a move that came out of nowhere. He pulls it off and it comes out of nowhere. You don't know what's coming. And when he hits it, it's over. That's the way that I envisioned it. That's the way a lot of people envisioned it. Goes for recovery, gets a 2 count. Why are we using the black mass as a fucking means to a kick out instead of a means to an end? Who produced this? Who went over this match and said, you know what, yeah, we'll go with that. That's a good spot, man. That'll pop the crowd. So we're using a finish that should ultimately be protected. That is the only thing in his arsenal that could be, that's the KO shot. That's it. Yeah, we'll use it as a kick out. Nobody finds that to be a problem? I don't know. I really don't know, man. Black tried dragging Adam Cole up, collapsing initially. He played possum. He caught Black with a super kick. Panama Sunrise, another super kick. Both guys go down. Cole gets up first. Black tried to get up. Instead, he sat with his legs crossed, telling Cole to essentially put him out of his misery. Cole hit the boom to the back of the neck, got the win. 1, 2, 3. Adam Cole beats Malakai Black, who is the leader of House of Black. He beat Buddy Matthews last week. He's now gone through 2/3 of the House of Black. Fans didn't really know what to think of Black basically asking to be ended. Kyle O'Reilly was shown watching backstage getting worked on by a trainer after he just wrestled in a street fight with the Learning Tree. Cole got up. Black got up. He thanked Malakai. Cole offered a handshake. Black shrugged it away. Instead, gave Adam Cole a hug. Black walked up the ramp. Adam Cole took the microphone and put Black over as one of the best he's ever faced in his 16-year career. Fans then started chanting, Malakai, Malakai. He looked around as if it was the last time people would see Malakai in AEW. The way everything transpired on television last night, you cannot fault the fans for thinking the way that they did on social media. Malakai's body language, the way the match ended, Malakai's body language, and the way he looked and admired the fans, it looked like a send-off. Maybe don't look at the fans in that way if you don't want people talking about you going away and leaving the company. Because that's the way fans interpreted it. You can't fault the fans for looking at that situation the way that they did. Misinformation and rumors get started that way. Malakai's not an innocent party in that. The way that he looked as if it was the last time we'd see him on AEW television. Don't give a shit what anybody says. That's the way that I saw it. If I saw it that way, I have every given right to think that. Other people thought that same way as well, clearly. Because rumors got started on social media, and then fans were claiming that Malakai, that could have been the last time he wrestles for AEW. That he's going back to the E. Malakai this morning saw everybody talking about him and addressed his AEW status with all the speculation going on about his future. Fightful reported that Black is not retiring, and the word going around in AEW in recent months is that they believe Black could be done towards the end of this year or early in 2025 if options are not exercised on AEW's behalf. I won't get into that because I already gave Tony Khan the benefit of the doubt to not add time on top of Rey Fenix because I thought he was better than that. And clearly he is not better than that. So if he did it with Fenix, I'm assuming he's going to do it with everybody else past Rey Fenix. So we'll see. I want to think that if his contract is coming up, that Tony won't add time on top of his contract due to injury or other reasons, personal reasons. So we really don't know. But everybody's like, well, it sounded like, it looked like Malakai's last match in AEW. But Fightful's reporting that the word going around within AEW is that he could be done at the end of the year. So theoretically, what the fans were saying were correct. We may be in another situation where he doesn't want things to be out there and he's got to fan the flames because he doesn't want Tony to catch wind of him wanting his exit. If fans start to exacerbate Malachi going to the E and back to Papa H and back to WWE, which we all know he wants to do anyway because his wife works over there, don't you think that's going to sit with Tony Khan and say, you know what, listen, man, I love you, man. We're going to use you. But you're going to help me get other guys over. But we're going to keep you here another 12 months, man. So we're going to tack some time onto your contract. If that don't work for you, brother, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. It's in the fine print of the contract, man. Go take a seat, and we'll use the House of Black sparingly when I want to. What do you think Malachi's going to come out and say? Yeah, my contract's up at the end of the year, man. Yeah, I think I'm going to seek other options. Of course he's not going to say that. Why would you expect him to say that? Why would anybody expect him to say that? But if everybody interpreted that last night as his last time on AEW television, which we know is not, because he's got a match in this tag team title tournament that they're holding for Private Party, whoever's going to wrestle Private Party at Full Gear, House of Black is a part of that. They're wrestling FTR, I think, on Dynamite next week. Should be a banger. I don't know if it's going to be Malachi. It might not even be Malachi. But Brody and Buddy, right? Whatever. At least the House of Black is on television. It may be the last match he has on AEW television. We don't know. So you can't really fault the fans for thinking that way after what they saw. And then we get this report. His contract could be done at the end of the year. Now, that hasn't been confirmed. Tony Khan stated 2 years ago that Black has been under contract for almost 5 years. Black took to his Instagram this morning to say, and I quote, "Here we are once more, a match down, and again, everybody has me retiring. He's retiring because of his injuries and this and that. Well, neither of these things. I'm not injured. I'm not retiring, nor am I leaving. I feel this happens every match, and I don't understand how many times you're going to say these things and them not happening, and people still are going to fall for that. I haven't been injured in more than 3 years. I'm referring to my back injury, of course, and I only posted about that after it was already done. If you would have read the post, you would have seen that and not read what other people have written about. I'm fine. I've been fine for the longest time. I would really appreciate if that stuff stops. If I'm not going to, or if I'm going to retire, you are going to hear that directly from me and not after Adam just cuts a promo just as a thank you for the match, because that's all it was. So thank you." So as of right now, he's not going anywhere. But if you want to read between the lines, I'm okay. I haven't been injured in 3 years. You haven't been injured in 3 years. So what is the reason? You don't think fans are going to be asking, well, what is the reason why you're not used on television? Why is Tony dropping the ball on the House of Black if you haven't been injured in 3 years and everything is fine? You can sit there and sit in denial all you want. The fact of the matter is, the House of Black, unfortunately, no matter how great Brody King is, no matter how great Buddy Matthews is, and I've claimed many times I've watched him wrestle, he's one of the best wrestlers on the fucking planet. And the fact that Malachi carries himself like a world champion and should be further along in AEW than he is. I don't give a shit where you sit, who you are, or what you think. The fact of the matter is the House of Black have failed under Tony Khan's creative. And right now they're only being used to enhance others. And nobody's doing a fucking thing to make them look good. How does this make House of Black look good? Buddy Matthews all of a sudden out of nowhere challenges Adam Cole because Adam Cole, theoretically, you want to put into simpler terms, is a pussy. He's fragile. So what happened? Buddy Matthews loses. Malachi, he challenged Adam Cole. Malachi loses. How exactly does this make the House of Black look like a credible threat in any sense of the word on AEW television? And Adam Cole, by the way, who hasn't wrestled for 15 months, who's on a bum ankle, who looks the way he does, frail and fragile. Does that make Malachi look good? You don't have to sit there and hide behind an Instagram post and put out everything is fine, I haven't been injured. You can tell. You can tell by watching. You can tell by the man's body language. If you made a logical guesstimation and you didn't know a fucking thing and you heard this story, I've been fine for 3 years. You think that man is happy? You think his original vision has played out on television? You think with what he wants and where he sees the House of Black, he's getting the House of Black that he envisioned when he first joined the company? You think Malachi's happy with his current standing in the company? If you think he's happy, please shut the fuck up and don't watch any more pro wrestling. You don't know a fucking thing. That man on the inside is hurting. He wants out, and he's never going to admit that he wants out because he can't do so. Same thing with Buddy Matthews, who apparently re-upped. I don't know how long he re-upped for, but the money must have been good enough to say, you know what? I'm going to stay here and take a very subpar role while my wife is in WWE killing it every fucking week. This has been a colossal fail. You could sit there and claim the House of Black is going to get an opportunity. The House of Black is great. House of Black, everything is great. I'm not injured. Everything is great. You can sit there and fucking cry all you want about how things are so great. They're not. The man has done nothing in AEW. The only thing of note that Malachi's done in AEW is his debut when he fucking gave Cody Rhodes a black mass in Miami. The vignettes that he cut before he actually showed up on that night. And the steel cage match with Adam Copeland at Double or Nothing. That's it. I don't know anything else that the man or the group has done that even warrants a discussion. Failure. Meanwhile, fans every week are asking, where's House of Black? Why aren't they being pushed? Why isn't Malachi further up on the card than everybody else? If he's all right, why are we not utilizing someone like that who people associate with top-tier level performers that this company once relied on? Why is he now gone away and become just another toy in Tony Khan's massive toy chest that gets lost in the shuffle and only reemerges when Tony realizes he's got the House of Black on his toy shelf? Maybe I want to play with them today. Or maybe I want to play with them this month. Tony has failed Malachi. Tony has failed House of Black. If Tony gave a shit about the House of Black, Julia Hart would be back on television, and she would be on television with the rest of the group now that they've gotten more television time this year in the last 3 weeks than they've gotten in all 2024. If he had a direction and a plan for House of Black, Julia Hart, who is ready to come back, by the way, would be on television and in the midst, in the thick of things, in the women's division that apparently is so great. What are we doing? This company is fucking, it is so bad. I don't know how people don't see what's going on. So you could sit there and say everything is great. I don't give a fuck what he says. I don't give a shit what Tony says. I don't give a shit what anybody says. The man is hurting. The man wants out. I would want out if I'm him. Sure, the money's great. But at some point, you got to sit yourself down and say, yeah, the money's great, but I didn't really see my fucking career wasted the way it has been in 3 years that it has been right now. What is he doing? He doesn't want to make less money and be a bigger star for it in the other place? Not to say that Triple H is going to take him and do better than what Tony Khan did. He may get lost in the shuffle over there too. What is he going to do over there? But the only reason why these guys left in the first place is because of Vince McMahon. Vince never seen anything in Malachi. And Tony now, same thing as Vince, never saw anything in Malachi. Tony doesn't see anything in Malachi Tony sees Malachi at the position that he's at now. If he didn't see Malachi the way he sees him now, he would be better off somewhere higher up on the card. If he had plans for Malachi and wanted to push Malachi, Malachi would have been a featured performer over the last 3 years, being that the guy just told you he wasn't injured in the last 3 years. So where the fuck has he been? Where's he been? Was it a goodbye to AEW? Very well could be. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It very well could be. The fact that Sapp is saying that his contract could come up at the end of the year, it very well could have been. It's a very weird thing to do and a weird thing to say if you're Adam Cole, who's basically going up against a heel faction. Why would he be thanking a heel faction at the end of his match? And do I trust Tony Khan or AEW Creative to take what they did last night and tell a story where we see the Undisputed Era get back together and they feud with Malachi and the House of Black? No, I don't. No, I do not. From the looks of it, it looks like Adam Cole and whomever is going to be feuding with the Don Callis family. I don't know where they're going. I don't know where any of it's going. But at the end of the day, you can't tell fans to stop thinking a certain way when all of the pieces line up to it being exactly that and feeling exactly that and looking like that. He looks at the crowd. He gives this glowing gaze of like, thank you, people. I love you. I'll be back somewhere else. Thank you, Malachi. Adam Cole cutting a babyface promo on a fucking heel. Thank you. Of course, people are going to associate that with, that might have been his last match. So we thanked Malachi. Cole says he's got one more win left to get his hands on MJF. Roderick Strong has 2 more to go. Cole said everyone wonders if Cole and Strong both get 3 wins. What will happen? Remember when I said MJF clearly laid out the statement and the rules for this thing? The first to get 3 wins gets MJF at Full Gear. Not if both of you guys get 3 wins, then you both get me at Full Gear. No, the first one to get 3 wins gets MJF at Full Gear. Cole talked to Tony Khan and said that when both Cole and Roddy get 3 wins, and if Cole and Roddy get 3 wins, that it will be a triple threat match at Full Gear with Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and MJF in a triple threat match. So basically, you want to know how things operate in AEW. Literally, how long ago was MJF on screen with Natalya, getting a massage, giving us the ground rules for how this is going to work out? 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks later, Tony Khan is changing the rules, contradicting what MJF said, making MJF look like he doesn't know what he's talking about, to ultimately change the rules to now include a triple threat match at Full Gear. Because we can't leave Roddy out, and it would be a better match with Roddy in it, and more intriguing with Roddy in it. Why are we just randomly changing the rules on the fly? That wasn't the original rule. But Tony Khan has changed the rule now to be that. Also, why do we need Adam Cole to lose, or to win, rather, against Malachi? Why couldn't he have lost? Is there no desire for a nice sense of unpredictability in AEW? Does nobody care about unpredictability in the company creatively? Why couldn't Malachi, who the fans genuinely want to see, why can't Malachi get a win over Adam Cole and Adam Cole go 1-1? He doesn't need to win 3 straight matches. He doesn't need to get to 3 wins quick. Why can't we get some struggle? I mean, the guy's been off TV for 15 fucking months. Malachi should have ended the fucking match after the Black Mass. Adam Cole should be 1-1. we should have a story within the story that MJF gave us, a story within the story that Adam Cole is struggling upon return, and he may not get his match with MJF. Only to then look at Roddy, who gets 2 wins, and he gets to 2 wins before Adam Cole does. Roddy struggles against a tough opponent. He goes 2-1. Adam Cole fights back to go 2-1. Then they get to a point where they both lose their next match, and they go 2-2 each, ultimately setting up a rubber match where the final match is between Roddy and Adam Cole, 1-on-1. Don't you think that would be a lot better off? Don't you think that would be better than Adam Cole already going 2-0 and beating someone like Malachi who shouldn't be losing? Then Adam Cole beats Roddy. They both are sympathetic to one another. Roddy gives Cole his best. They both remain friends. He gives him his best wishes going into the match with MJF. MJF beats Adam Cole. There's no love loss between Roddy and Adam Cole, and they reform Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole as the Undisputed Era, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. Undisputed. Yet here we are with all of this, and Tony Khan is basically changing the rules. So where they both get 3 wins, they both get into the triple threat match instead of pitting them against each other, which is a great sub-story in the overall story of MJF and Adam Cole. I don't really understand that. I don't get it. There's no sense of creativity in this company whatsoever. Whatsoever. And it's quite sad to see. So we'll see what happens. Where I think this is going, I think we're going to get Kyle O'Reilly. Obviously, we are seeing Kyle watch their matches, Roddy's matches, Cole's matches. We're going to get Cole, O'Reilly, and Roddy back together. I don't know what we do with Taven and Bennett. To be honest with you, I don't fucking care. Them being aligned with MJF does not make any sense. I don't want to see that. That would be fucking lame. Send them back to Ring of Honor and let them wither away. Or build them up to be a part of the AEW Tag Team division, but not really all that important or substantial. Nobody gives a fuck about what they do. Nobody. Just another cast of losers in a sea of a dead tag team division. I don't know who MJF is going to align himself with. I don't know. I would just, as quickly as they can, I would end this MJF and Adam Cole shit and just move on. I would move on. I would really like to see them move on from this. MJF deserves better, and they need to move on from this because none of anything that made sense, none of what we've seen up until this point made any sense whatsoever. None. Everything is just so reckless, creatively just reckless. MJF, speaking of which, he was shown on TV from his home, furious about what he just saw. He made a phone call saying he needs them to pay someone a visit. Now, we didn't know who he was talking to, but we clearly saw that it was nobody of importance. It was just somebody who was to meet with someone else on the roster and hand them some nice gifts in exchange for taking out Adam Cole. The Full Gear 4-Way Contenders Series begins this weekend on Collision to determine who the 3 challengers will be to face Private Party in a fatal 4-way match for the AEW Tag Team Championships. Now, it will be the Outrunners versus Top Flight. Absolutely, Outrunners should go over. FTR versus House of Black. FTR is probably going over because, like I just mentioned, the House of Black are losers. Tony looks at them as losers. And LFI versus the Acclaimed. I would go with LFI, but I have a feeling the Acclaimed are going to win. So we're looking at the Outrunners, FTR, and the Acclaimed against Private Party. And that is my prediction for the Tag Team Championships. Who I think ultimately take those tag team titles from Private Party. I think FTR will eventually take those tag team titles from Private Party. And I think, believe it or not, because this is how fucking selfish they are, because they feel like they need to be the flag bearers of the division. And what we've seen on television up until this point, there's no doubt in my mind that they are probably prepping for FTR to take the tag team titles from Private Party and then maybe put over the Outrunners. Maybe. I don't know. I don't trust them to go that far with it, but I think a lot of people are claiming that they want to see the Outrunners win the tag team championships. Would it be better off on them than Private Party? Sure. I would like to see that happen. I think the whole division needs a fucking reset, to be quite honest with you. Taking a look at the chat, we got 1,600 people in here. Thank you guys very much. Continue to hit that thumbs up. Let's try for 750 likes on today's AEW Dynamite stream. And super chats are open. Get them on in. We will hang out at the end of the show. Renee interviewed Jay White backstage about what Hangman Page said about him. Hangman jumped Jay White as he began talking. They fought into the arena and down the aisle. Hangman wound up with a chair. Juice Robinson ran out and took it from him. White fought back, took it to Hangman at ringside. White says he was going to dismantle Hangman at Full Gear and have fun doing it, and the fans will have fun watching. He says he might even be the first to make Hangman tap out. Listen, I'm excited about Jay White and Hangman Page Part 2. Two of the best things about AEW television, not getting nearly enough television time. Backstage, Renee Paquette was backstage with Chris Statlander. And she looks to be arriving to the arena. We were already an hour and a half into the show, and she's lugging her luggage into the arena. Where the fuck has she been? What was the call time for talent? Why is she showing up late? These are questions that I genuinely had. So, supposedly, Tony Khan announced that at Full Gear, it will be Mercedes Moné defending the TBS title against Chris Statlander. Oh joy, oh joy. No story involved. Nobody gives a fuck. No emotion. Nobody cares. Statlander says she can't wait for Full Gear and can't wait to win back the TBS title. So much for that. She walks off. So she walks off screen. Renee's about to kick it back to ringside in the commentary team, and all of a sudden we hear a car screeching, putting on the brakes. Cameraman goes over in a hurried fashion. He sees Chris Statlander laid out on the floor as she evaded Camille and Mercedes trying to commit vehicular homicide here. We got Camille trying to run over Chris Statlander in the backstage area of Dynamite. So Mercedes is in the passenger seat. She's yelling at Camille, I told you to hit her. Why did you pump the brakes? Anything you do is a mess up. You always mess shit up. So Camille gets out and she starts brawling with Statlander. Stat fought both Mercedes and Camille off, slamming Camille's arm in the car door and hits a rock bottom onto the hood of the car to Mercedes. So she ends up walking away, and that's the end of the segment. The way that this came off, it was so fucking lame. I can't even put into words how lame this was. Camille looked like a blundering oaf. She looked like a fool in this entire segment. Wildly swinging and missing Statlander. Just comedically, just all over the place, man. Just flailing in midair with fucking trying to attack. And Mercedes gets out there and she takes a horrid-looking rock bottom on the hood of this vehicle. She's laying there, screeching that she's hurt on the floor. I mean, holy fuck, man. What are we doing? What are we doing, bro? At one point, this woman was revered and looked at as a change in women's wrestling. Now she is nothing more than a fucking afterthought in AEW. Yet she says she's having the best run of her career in AEW. It's the most fun I've ever had, man. No shit. When Tony's paying you $4 million a year, of course you're going to be having a great fucking time. When Tony's flying you on the private jet and he's fucking paying you more than any other woman in the history of the business, no wonder it's the best fucking time in your career. But the creative that we see on television, the way we see her used on television, is probably the worst we've ever seen in her entire career. I thought they hired Jennifer Pepperman to make the women's division better. What has she done for the women's division? Does anybody have an answer to this question? What exactly is Jennifer Pepperman's role in AEW? I'm not seeing it. In fact, it's almost as if she doesn't even work there. All I heard was great things about what she brings to the table. If this is the best that this woman is churning out creatively, all the more reason that we need a complete gutting of the insides of the machine, and we need some new blood in there to take over and write for this show. This is fucking horridly embarrassing. Trash. Anybody excited about Statlander and Mercedes? You're blinded by the fact that Tony is selling you on absolutely nothing. You're blind thinking that Tony's giving you something great and substantial. Oh, it's going to be a banger match. This match offers absolutely nothing to the viewer. Nothing. A complete waste of time. So at Full Gear, we have Jericho versus Ishii and Mercedes versus Stat. Couldn't even be bothered to tell me why Stat turned babyface. There's not even a story for why this match is happening. So, 2 matches on Full Gear right now. Bathroom breaks right here. How do you expect me to emotionally invest when there is zero heat coming out of this match? This feud. Shit. Absolute shit. This was the best thing on the entire show. Christian Cage and Hook face to face. Patriarchy came to the ring as Christian Cage held up the AEW World Title contract and told fans to shut their mouths as he has business to conduct. Cage said security was at ringside for Hook's protection before officially welcoming Kip Sabian into the Patriarchy, as he's now a fatherless loser, like many before him. Cage plays the clip of Sabian stealing his pen before almost cashing in his contract last month, as Cage then said Sabian was wise enough to realize the Blackpool Combat Club, who were standing backstage at the time, would have interfered and cost him the world title. So after months of Kip Sabian trying to get his attention and Christian Cage ignoring him and kind of casting him to the side, they showed the instance where Pac and Claudio were waiting backstage. Christian Cage came out with the contract. He took the pen away, said, no, don't go out there. He took the pen and ran away. We saw exactly why. So I appreciate the fact that they did a callback to that moment to give us an explanation as to why he now is in favor of Kip Sabian. I thought that was great. So Cage said in that moment, Sabian did more for him than any of his other sons ever have. And he looked over in Nick Wayne's direction. Cage says he loves Sabian, hugging him, and then Hook's theme music hit with the Hook signal in the sky. He comes out to the stage. Hook said whatever it is Cage has to say, make it fast and make it good. He doesn't have much patience. Cage said Hook is a wild card with crazy eyes. He's an ass kicker, but he needs a son like him. Cage realized if he was going to be his son, he needed Taz out of the picture, as it was out of place, or out of a place of love. He took out Taz with a lead pipe to the leg, questioning why he didn't just tell Hook who did it, as he saw it was Cage who was behind all this. Why did he force Hook to find his own answers? Cage said Taz buckled under the pressure of the bright lights and hid behind the commentary table, and asks if that's what Hook wants to do, or does he want to be a world champion like the great Christian Cage? Cage said no one cares that Taz is alive and he wishes he was dead. As Hook broke through the security The patriarchy all bailed, and the guards were left getting their asses kicked and choked out. Cage is smiling at Hook. Hook stands tall, and he screams he wants a one-on-one match. Can't hate on this. Christian is very good at what he does. We got an explanation as to why Kip Sabian's in the patriarchy. We got an explanation as to why he took out Taz. The only thing on the show that made any sense consistently whatsoever. Do I think Christian Cage is to become the AEW World Champion? No, not as long as Jon Moxley is holding the championship. But he won it at All In. I'm assuming he's got the 12-month grace period, so he'll probably be holding on to that gimmick for quite a while, and it will be a long time before we even get a cash-in on that. So I thought this was great. And Cage versus Christian, or actually Hook, rather. Hook versus Christian at Full Gear is more than likely signed, sealed, and delivered. Don Callis. He was backstage, and Alex Marvez asked about his new team of Lance Archer and Brian Cage before a large man with an envelope and a jewelry box approaches. Then he offers a phone, and it has a message from the devil. It's from the devil, as MJF said. He needs Callis to do something for him and said there's more money where that came from. MJF also said, do what needs to be done, baby, and not to scuff up his ring or he'll have someone scuff him up. The man walks off with Callis putting the Dynamite diamond ring on and admiring it as he's wearing it. So MJF paid Don Callis in the form of money and jewelry for Konosuke Takeshita's services to take out Adam Cole. So next week we got Konosuke Takeshita versus Adam Cole, one-on-one. Next week. Should be a great match. On any given night, I'm like, well, that's a banger. But after what we got tonight, maybe Adam Cole goes and loses. And what I said does come to fruition. I don't know why we needed Malachi to lose. I don't know why Takeshita is being the one paid off, or Callis is being paid off for Konosuke Takeshita, but that's what they want to do. So that's what happened there. Jamie Hayter, Penelope Ford. This was a one-on-one match with a ridiculous reason as to why they are feuding. The last time that Penelope Ford was on TV was 2 years ago, and the last person that she was on TV with, she teamed with Jamie Hayter, which was a temporary partnership. It lasted, 2 weeks? And she's upset about that. Oh, Jamie didn't call while I was out. Ford attacked Hayter at the bell. She was posing in the corner. She got some strikes. Ford missed a big corner charge, allowing Hayter to hit a high back suplex. Some more punches. Ford fought back with a handspring elbow and a charging boot. We got a big kick into the ropes. Snap drop kick by Penelope Ford. She goes for recovery. She gets a 2 count. Ford missed a moonsault, which allowed Hayter to fly in with a drop kick of her own and spiked Ford with a brainbuster. She tried for the lariat. Ford did this matrix bend, and she followed up with a nice cutter for a near fall. Hayter fought out of a fireman's carry, and then she comes back with Haterade for the 1, 2, 3. So thanks for coming, Penelope Ford, in a feud that meant absolutely nothing to anybody and anyone. Great. Penelope looked okay in her time in the ring. Jamie Hayter, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with her, but she needs to be doing something a little bit more substantial, for sure. They showed a video of Mina Shirakawa. Mina is coming next week. And if you guys paid close attention to the vignette, I don't know if it was just on my end, maybe something was glitched out. Mina is coming was on the screen, but Mina's name actually quickly, it was glowing black and white. We got a black and white image of Mina's name, and then it went back to full color. Is she coming with Tony? Is she coming with Tony Storm next week? I don't know. So it looks like we're going to get Mina versus Mariah at Full Gear. Can't say that I'm excited about it because they waited so long to tell this part of the story that genuinely I don't really give a shit about where any of this goes with Mariah May. Video package was shown for Kazuchika Okada. Jim Ross called him one of his favorite talents ever in wrestling. Most people who are knowledgeable will have him in their top 5 wrestlers of all time. Excalibur said if Okada wins the Continental Classic, he will tie Masahiro Chono for the most tournament wins for a Japanese talent, bringing up the G1 Climax legacy left by Chono. Okada shrugged off Chono's previous G1 Climax wins and mentioned how he will win the Continental Classic this year and defend the Continental title. This was a quick little video to put over Okada's history of winning big tournaments ahead of the Continental Classic, which will start the Wednesday following Full Gear. We don't know when the brackets will be announced, or the blocks, I should say, will be announced, but they clearly used Chono's G1 Climax legacy here to build Okada in this year's Continental Classic. Who? I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't care. I don't watch Japanese pro wrestling. If you want to go watch Japanese pro wrestling, God bless you. I don't give a shit. Ricochet and his mystery partner against Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. His mystery partner was powerhouse Will Hobbs. Yes, powerhouse Hobbs is back, and we got the return of Powerhouse Will Hobbs. His contract with the Don Callis family has come to an end. He got a mild reaction. Comes out to the ring with Ricochet. Match is on. Hobbs mowed down both Takeshita and Fletcher. Shoulder tackle. And they did mention on commentary that was a rare oversight by Don Callis for letting Hobbs' contract expire with the Don Callis family. Callis had no use for him since he signed Lance Archer and Brian Cage. Thanks for the explanation, Sockface. Takeshita started no-selling Ricochet's chops at ringside, took him out with a forearm. Hobbs dropped Fletcher before stalking Takeshita. Ricochet stood on the shoulders of Hobbs and moonsaulted off to the floor onto Takeshita and Fletcher. Nice spot there. We've seen him do that with Braun Strowman in WWE. Delay vertical suplex from Hobbs on Fletcher before tagging in Ricochet. Little distraction from Takeshita allowed Fletcher to drop a DDT through the ropes to gain control. Big boots. Ricochet, during the break, was isolated away from Will Hobbs in the heel's corner. Adam Cole shown watching backstage as we are told Cole will go one-on-one with Konosuke Takeshita. That's taking place next week as Adam Cole's final hurdle to get to MJF for Full Gear. Hot tag from Will Hobbs. He ran wild with a lariat on Fletcher. Snap power slam on Takeshita. Hobbs hits an avalanche tour of the islands. But Fletcher broke up the pin attempt as Konosuke was in trouble. Caused Hobbs to chuck him from the ring. Hobbs lowered the straps. You know when the straps are lowered, he means business. This delay allowed Takeshita to fire off some forearm strikes. Hobbs, he ate the offense. Forearm exchange by Hobbs and Takeshita led to Hobbs winning that one. Takeshita managed a stalling German, and Hobbs comes back with a wild lariat and a double down of both Powerhouse Hobbs and Konosuke Takeshita. Ricochet and Fletcher tag in. Things pick up. Fletcher hits a big boot. Missed the corner charge. Ricochet tried for a springboard crossbody, but was caught by Fletcher. It turned into a sit-out Liger bomb. Only a 2 count. Hobbs was sent to the floor as Takeshita wanted an avalanche powerbomb on Ricochet, who countered into a Hurricane Rana midair. Ricochet wanted a 450 on Takeshita. Missed. He rolled through. Takeshita comes back with a big pump knee. Head scissors into attempted gut-wrench German. Ricochet landed on his feet. Tried for the poison Rana. Takeshita held on, and Fletcher flew in with a doomsday device for 2. That was the best spot of the match. Ricochet avoided the big power knee. hit Takeshita with a thrust kick. Fletcher was taken out by Hobbs. Takeshita wanted a big lariat on Ricochet, but Hobbs shoved him out of the way and took the lariat instead. Ricochet flew off the top for Hurricane Rana. Takeshita initially caught him, but Ricochet snapped through with a pin attempt for a 2. Shooting star connected. He goes for another cover, gets a 2, and then he does what he calls the spear gun, which is basically a hidden blade from Will Ospreay, basically ripping off Hidden Blade, and got the job done. And he pins Konosuke Takeshita. 1, 2, 3. So clearly this sets up Takeshita versus Ricochet for the international title at Full Gear. And at the same time, sets up the very predictable Adam Cole and Konosuke Takeshita match next week. I don't see Adam Cole winning against Takeshita after Takeshita lost here. Like, I don't really understand the logic there. You announce this match, and then we see Takeshita lose, only to turn around next week and predictably see Adam Cole lose to the international champion. Of all people. It couldn't be somebody else? I don't really understand the logic here. So thank you for giving me a loss to Adam Cole, but I would like it to come in a very unpredictable fashion. I would have had him lose to Buddy Matthews. I would have had him lose to Aleister Black or Malakai Black. But Konosuke, well, should be a great match, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, there's no fucking way that Adam Cole is going to beat Konosuke Takeshita next week. 0. And it shouldn't happen. At all. If they're even thinking about it. Post-match, Fletcher grabbed the steel chair, smacked Hobbs on the apron, followed by 1-2 Ricochet. Fletcher wanted a Tiger Driver. Mark Davis, to the sound of crickets, made his way out for the save. Tried to drag Fletcher to the back, but a shoving match happened with Davis and Fletcher. Nobody cares. Does anybody know who Mark Davis is? No. Lance Archer and Brian Cage hit the ring. They attacked Mark Davis. If all of this sounds lame, that's because it is. Laid out Mark Davis with Fletcher watching on. Adam Cole ran out to start brawling with Takeshita. I didn't know there was a problem between Takeshita and Adam Cole now all of a sudden. They brawl for no reason. They brawl. They wrestle to the back. Out comes Will Ospreay, who sprinted out from the back to a huge ovation. His fists are tape. Cage and Archer save Fletcher initially, but Hobbs, Davis, and Ricochet all recovered to make the save. Fletcher almost was nailed with a hidden blade, but bailed before Ospreay could hit it. Ospreay, Hobbs, Ricochet, and Davis stared down the Don Callis family to end the show. So it looks like we're getting a mixture of Hobbs, Ospreay, Ricochet, and Mark Davis against Brian Cage, Lance Archer, Konosuke Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher. And if that's what you want to do at Full Gear, then do it. I would rather see that than rushing right into a match with Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher and Ricochet versus Konosuke Takeshita. I would save all these matches for World's End. I really would. They got a couple of weeks of television here if they want to build some matches between these 8 individuals. But I don't really understand why we wasted Will Hobbs' appearance in this match. Why did we waste Will Hobbs here? Oh, but he was with the Don Callis family. Who gives a fuck? Does anybody give a fuck that he was in the Don Callis family? I know I don't. Did he do anything of note in the Don Callis family? No, he didn't. If Will Ospreay was there backstage, and Will Ospreay was there and ready to be used, why wasn't he the tag team partner for Ricochet? Isn't he the one that wants Kyle Fletcher? Wouldn't that been a better option for Ricochet? Wouldn't that have been a better main event? But the fact that they drew 523,000, I don't think it would have made a lick of a difference for a Wednesday Night Dynamite. The point that I'm trying to make is Will Ospreay was a better choice for the mystery partner. Predictably, yes. But in this case, Will Ospreay would have made the most sense, being that they are building towards Ospreay and Fletcher. Will Hobbs His entire mystery opponent, or mystery partner, I should say, that entire mystery was wiped away when Will Ospreay came out there. Why couldn't we save Will Hobbs for Full Gear? Why couldn't we save him for Full Gear and put him in a situation where Swerve has Bobby Lashley beat and Will Hobbs is one of the guys that accepts MVP's business card and helps Bobby Lashley beat Swerve Strickland? Don't you think Will Hobbs being aligned with the Hurt Syndicate is a better use of Will Hobbs than putting him in a tag team match as a mystery partner for Ricochet? When you just trotted out Will Ospreay there anyway at the end of the match. The usage of talent in this company, the way that certain talent are used, is laughable. It is deplorable. Why? You mean to tell me that what I just stated to you is not a better creative idea? To use Will Hobbs and make Will Hobbs' return impactful? Yet once again, we take Will Hobbs and we put him in the light of Ricochet and Will Ospreay, and he's nothing more than a fucking afterthought. Why? I don't get it. This show was it a good show? Compared to NXT, yes, it was a good show. If you want me to compare both shows last night on Wednesday night going head to head, yeah, it was a better show. But man, oh man, the fucking clueless nature of this company and the things that they do and the mentality that they breed. They live in their own bubble. They live in this wokeness where if you combat anything that they do, they don't like you. Media credentials rescinded. Roster attacking you on social media. You can't give anything negatively back to AEW, man. You're not allowed to. They only want people that are going to glaze what they do and gloss over all the mistakes and all the terrible. I'm not about that. I will be here every fucking week calling this shit out. It is a bad creative company right now. It's not good. Now, Dynamite next week, Adam Cole versus Konosuke Takeshita, and FTR versus the House of Black. Buddy and Brody, I'm assuming. Sounds like a solid show next week. Full Gear is shaping up to be less than exciting. Thank you guys for joining me here on this Dynamite post on Off the Script. If you guys enjoyed it, I would appreciate a thumbs up. We are less than 100 away from 750, man. That's the goal. Let's try and get there. Super chats are open. Get them on in. Get them on in. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go check out all the other content on the channel. Plenty of it. And make sure you guys check out Blue Chew, my sponsor for tonight's show, BlueChew.com. Code JD at checkout for your free sample. Francis Loop. Francis, thank you, brother, for becoming a yearly Patreon VIP, brother. I appreciate you very much, man. I got to send out your hats and official, exclusive, off the script baseball bat beer mug, man. Love it. What's Triple H going to do with Malakai? He's not going to be a world champion in the current landscape. Feud with The Miz and The Final Testament. Yes, but he will be better off in WWE than he's right now in AEW. Gabriel Boss. JD, please give up on Rhea regaining the title. I beg you. Liv will be champ heading into WrestleMania. Rhea just can't come back again and win the title right away. That doesn't negate the fact that Liv Morgan needs to drop the championship, and she cannot walk into WrestleMania as world champion. Nobody is beating Liv, he says, before Mania. WrestleMania match will likely be a triple threat with Liv, Becky, and Rhea, with Liv retaining against all odds. Gabriel, you are living in a fantasy realm. Liv Morgan will not be the champion past WrestleMania. Francis Loop, thank you, brother. 15 in Super Chat. What a dynamite. Liv Morgan doesn't possess a quarter of the talent Penelope Ford has. What a backstage segment with Stat, Monet, and Camille. Yes, it was awful. And I will agree, Penelope Ford is a lot better than Liv Morgan in the ring. Hope this is the end of the Pernong tree. Adam Cole will get his first loss next week. I was not expecting Hobbs to be the mystery partner. You mean the learning? I'm assuming you mean the learning tree. Who the fuck is the Pernong tree? Adam Cole will definitely lose next week. Yes. Francis Loop also says, I have a feeling Hobbs will be involved with the Swerve and Hurt business and not the Don Callis family, but I could be wrong. I hope so. I don't know why he was the mystery partner for Ricochet. Otis, thank you, brother. I see that gold microphone, man. Appreciate you. Michelle Moran with a $5 super chat. Mox may be doing more harm than good beating up people like OC, and they are not getting their heat back on them. Too one-sided. It is getting boring. Yes. Something substantial, something shocking needs to happen. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this live stream. JC720, 27 months. Just what is needed? OTS to make up for a fucked up day. JD, I hope everything is good with you. Hopefully your day gets better, brother. Otis, 34 months. Appreciate you, brother. What's up, JD, OTS family? My birthday is on Thanksgiving this year. Get your beverages ready and the likes up. OTS Bloodline. Rob Maletta with a 10. Great show as always. I still believe that Malachi is leaving. Early 2025 makes sense. Why would he say otherwise, considering what happened with the Lucha Brothers? He's been booked terribly in AEW. Yes. Yes, he has. He knows it. Tony knows it. Fans know it. Oh, I haven't been injured in 3 years. Where the fuck you been? You don't think fans have the right to ask where you are, what you're doing, and why you're still there? And why they want you out? How did my tweet do? Let's see. $530 likes in an hour. Oh my goodness. Jesus Christ, man. Oh my God. Let me check on my Twitch family, man. What do we got here? Hurricane! Subscribe with a Prime membership. Thank you, brother. Triple M gives out a community sub. We got Jake Boss, C Greatness, D Money, Main Banks Rollin', Nation of Creation, and Goonie Cortez, all following the stream. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you all. Rob Millett, appreciate you. Dylan with a $5 super chat. Dylan is coming. Dylan Cummings. JD, can I get a reaction to Stephanie Chase's tweet about Malachi? Journalist. I don't know what she said. She has me blocked. Can we see blocked accounts on social media? Let's see. Stephanie Chase has blocked you. I can view public posts, but I'm not allowed to engage. What did she say about Malachi? This guy is such a bullshit merchant. Let's be honest. These conversations happen about Black because most of the time he looks like he couldn't give a fuck about wrestling. He doesn't lose when he does. He acts like he sacrificed himself rather than be beaten. And acts all sad. I would stop giving this man attention, but for now, I guess he's still employed by AEW. An utter waste of time, seriously. Enough of this, why are dirt sheets saying this nonsense? You want people to speculate about you. Try putting on a good shift at work to shut people up. Gee, didn't I say the same thing last night? Chat, didn't I say the same thing last night on social media? People were making fun of me about what I said. What did I say? I honestly think, I wish all of your feelings were correct and Malachi was out or on his way out of AEW. But unfortunately, I don't think this is the case. And I think he has quite a bit of ways to go with this contract. Again, Sapp says it could be up, not confirmed at the end of the year. Nobody should be kicking out of Black Mass. That's pathetic. His fall from his glory days in NXT should be studied. He's a product of another billionaire collecting his toys and only plays with them when he wants. You can tell his matches are soulless, as if he doesn't want to be there. The only thing of note was his initial debut and his cage match with Adam Copeland. So it looks like me and Miss Chase have something in common. There you go. Malachi certainly acts like he doesn't want to be there. It's not that difficult to see, honestly. Zeta Steele and Bryce Donovan have been announced in WWE ID. Who the fuck is that? Who are they? Who was that? Bryce Donovan? All I know is that WWE signed Lance Anoa'i. That's all I care about. Dylan, thank you. Best in the world, Matt, with a $20 super chat. JD Death Rider has been John Moxley's nickname in New Japan Pro Wrestling since 2019. Same goes for his theme that he's using for his group. It's his theme in New Japan. It's Tony Khan once again using things New Japan, and no one cares. This is the same thing that Tony Khan did with Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega's coming back to pro wrestling. Where is he going? Sets up a match with Gabe Kidd. He's wrestling for New Japan, and he says New Japan in his home. Kenny Omega legitimately said New Japan is his home. Goes to show you what they think of Tony Khan running AEW. Zeta Steele wrestled in Marigold. Color me, I don't give a shit. Thanks, Matt. FGC Hitman with a 10. Serpentico, Hologram, and Beast Mortos. Managed by Jake La Culabra. Roberts would be the biggest threat to the Death Riders. If you want a comedy show, sure. No. Captain Solo with a 40 months. JD, did you hear about Jake Hager complaining about Tony Khan making his life miserable over his political beliefs? If that's true, what the fuck, man? I don't know. I think Jake Hager might be under NDA. Just like they all are. Everybody's NDA'd out the asshole because they don't want anybody to know the internal workings of a fucking hellhole like AEW. And nobody should be canceled over their political beliefs, man. Grow the fuck up. If you voted Trump or if you voted Harris, it doesn't fucking matter. Stop losing friendships and stop acting like a crybaby bitch over who's in the fucking seat. Live your life the way that it needs to be, and don't let anybody lead you astray and tell you what to do and how to feel. Give me a break. Everybody will wake up and everything will be okay when he's sworn in. Trust me. Captain Solo says, hey, JD, I know you're a huge Braves fan. Any chance your team will get involved in the Juan Soto P. Alonso bidding wars? No. What do they need Pete Alonso for? They're going to have Pete Alonso play third base, but they got Matt Olson at first. Juan Soto, I feel like, is going to be a flash in the pan, man. You saw glimmers of greatness, and I think next year, wherever he goes, he's not going to continue to do that. Captain Solo also says, what is your absolute favorite pumpkin beer? Southern Tier Pumpkin. Blake Meads with a $9.99. I once bitten twice. Shy on this Moxley angle. I might be a little bit more open-minded about it if we just didn't have a big takeover angle that went absolutely nowhere. Well, Blake, you just solved the problem of why nobody gives a shit. Best in the world, Matt, with a $5 super chat. Tony Khan is about to sign Little Guido in the coming months here to AEW. LOL. Here's another thing. AEW got beat out by fucking Little Guido. Let's tweet it out. AEW Dynamite got beat out by fucking Little Guido. Let's rile up the fan base, huh? Let's make AEW great again, huh? Fucking sad. Captain Solo, thank you, brother. $5 super chat here. Tony Khan needs to go to work at McDonald's. Maybe he could get that right because booking wrestling is not his thing. No, it ain't. Eddie Valentino with a 5. What would be more worth the watch, AEW Today or WCW Nitro Russo era? I didn't listen, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't watch anything WCW, so I don't know how genuinely bad it was during the Russo era. So just by default, I'm going to take AEW. Captain Solo says with a $2 super chat. Little Guido 316 says, I just whipped your ass. Yeah. Scorpio says, put the fries in the bag, TK. Jesus Christ. Georgie with a $4.99. Triple H, Rubber Duckies, Drowning Help. Here comes Candice Michelle. Triple H, still help. Undertaker, Tombstone, Ducks. Still need help. Candice pinch Triple H. Georgie, are you Demeter bullying in disguise? Ben Wilby angling with a 5. Never get the chance to do a super chat as I watch these shows the following day as I live in England. This is the only podcast I go to for my wrestling fix. Ben, I appreciate you, brother. Timmy No Turner with a $1.99. WWE signed Lance Anoa'i. Laughing my ass off. Talk about zero charisma. Well, maybe he developed some at the Performance Center. We don't know. He's got a lot of inspiration down there. Wink, wink. Captain Solo with $5 super chat. Bro, somebody needs to buy Adam Cole an all-you-can-eat weekend pass to Popeyes and the best local steakhouse for reals. Listen, man, I'm not exactly the fucking model for what a body should look like. I'm not fat. But Adam Cole does not look like he used to do in NXT. That's all I'll say. David Thiering, thank you, brother. 6 months. OTS member here for 6 months. 6 months in the venue that has 3 guarantees. Ice cold drinks, fire wrestling takes, and TK fearing for his life with every AEW review. OTS for life. David. Love it. Thank you, brother. Stan, 1996 with a $12 super chat. Hey, JD, I've been a fan since 2016, and I just want to say thank you. Stan, I appreciate you very much, my brother. 2016, huh? That's a long fucking time, man. It's almost going on 10 years. Going on 10 years. I appreciate everybody that's been with me for that long, man. Sidro with a $5 super chat. According to TKO COO, he met with Vince McMahon, and Vince is reportedly positive with the direction WWE is going. He stressed he has zero role in the company. Yes, Mark Shapiro had lunch with Vince McMahon. I am not worried. Vince can fuck off. Arrangements with a $9.99. I've been listening to rap hip-hop music all my life, and ever since I started watching you, I've been hooked on Andy James and Mutiny Within. When is the OTS Apple Spotify playlist coming? I don't know, man. I could certainly add to it. Maybe one of these days I will add to it. And I'll put it in the description of this chat. Andy James is one of the best guitarists on the planet. Brogue Jr. with a 5. I got a chance to catch my first live. Been a fan since 2017. Love you. Thank you, brother. Happy to have you. AJ with a 18 months. What's up, JD? Hope you're doing well. AEW is so boring. Nothing makes sense and so ridiculous. Yes. Yes. Thank you, man. Tone C with a $5 super chat. You didn't go to Pat or Gino's. That would explain why I never got that cheesesteak after WrestleMania. LOL. Long-term booking. OTS for life. Yeah, man. I would prefer to remain healthy. No greasy cheesesteaks for me. Sidro with a $2 super chat. Lance on Hawaii. Signed with WWE and starting in NXT. He's injured. He's not starting anywhere anytime soon. Caden Crawford with a $1.99. Great live, JDPS. New WWE ID people announced on X. Great. I don't know who they are. And TK Banks with a $5 super chat. He says, ECW nostalgia on NXT beats WWE nostalgia on Dynamite. Get the pen away from Tony Khan. Tony needs some serious help. He needs some serious fucking help. The whole show is fucking lost. Tony Khan got beat up by Little Guido, folks. That's the biggest takeaway from tonight's live stream. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you all very much. Thank you for joining me on this rare Thursday AEW Dynamite post. Jesse and I will be back live next week. Regular time, regular day, regular channel. You guys know the deal. Everything goes back to normal next week. Raw, Tuesday Night Titans, AEW Dynamite. We'll be doing our thing next week, man. Thank you guys for a great stream. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go and check out all the other content on the channel. I'm sure there'll be more content coming tomorrow. And the weekend will be live again tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown. Thank you for the super chat, love. If you guys are going to be in the comment section after the fact, I would appreciate you leave me a comment. Could be anything. Let me know what you thought of Dynamite. Leave me your favorite emoji. Let me know why you dislike Tony Khan's creative. Whatever it may be, leave a comment down below. It helps me out tremendously. Continue to hit that thumbs up. I'm sure we'll get to the 1,000 likes. We usually do. And please, again, hit that subscribe button down below. Become a part of the family here on Off the Strip. And we are doing big things. We had the best month of October in the history of the channel. And we're looking to have a tremendous holiday season as things are certainly going to get ramped up. Full gear. Survivor Series, War Games, Saturday night's main event, and then obviously the Raw Netflix premiere, man. We got a lot of great shit coming up. Thank you guys very much for all your support. I will see you back tomorrow night live for Friday night's SmackDown right here on OTS. I'll see you guys later.